Students, Assalamu alaikum to all of you. We are going to learn plant physiology. It is unit 4 of your book. And our today's topic is transport in plants. Transport in plants. Transport means these plants have need of something. It means they need food, water and minerals. But in plants there are present some tissues which we call as vascular tissues. Vascular tissues. So we have to see at what time we need these tissues. We know in any plant there are leaves which play a vital role in food formation. So the function of leaves is to prepare food in presence of sunlight. Leaves prepare food. It means photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Photo means light. Synthesis means formation. Formation of food in presence of sunlight. So we know that these leaves prepare food and these have a pigment which is chlorophyll. And the function of chlorophyll is to trap the sunlight, then break the water molecule and convert CO2 into glucose, carbon dioxide into glucose. So glucose and sugar is formed as the result of photosynthesis. But we have to transport it to different plant parts. Now for transportation we have different ways, shorter ways and longer ways. And when we transport something through shorter distances, for example, these shorter distances we have to transport something cell to cell transport, cell to cell or cell to membrane, and we make the use of shorter distances which is of diffusion. It is the shorter distance, diffusion. But when we transport some substance through longer distances, then we need vascular tissues. For longer distances, when we try to transport something through longer distances, it means we make use of vascular tissues. So we know these vascular tissues are xylem and phloem. Now we know that this xylem is responsible for responsible to transport water and minerals. Xylem is responsible to transport. It is responsible to transport water and minerals. And phloem is responsible to transport that food, for example sugar, which is formed as the result of photosynthesis. Phloem transports food, and food is that sugar which is formed as the result of photosynthesis. But when we transport water and minerals with the help of vascular tissues through longer distances, we call this process as translocation. For example, when we transport something through long distances, that means through vascular tissues, where we use xylem and phloem, and it is called as translocation. And we will see what is diffusion. We know that this diffusion is slow process. It is slow process, and it is the movement of molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration. From movement of molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration. And this process is not dependent upon living system, and there is no requirement of energy. It means that transportation of shorter distances is with the help of diffusion. Transportation of shorter distances is with the help of diffusion. Now, what are the factors on which diffusion depends? It depends upon the solubility of the membrane. Solubility of the diffusion depends upon, number one, solubility of the membrane. It means that the membrane from which the molecule has to cross. Then another one is concentration gradient, and that means concentration gradient. Concentration gradient, size of molecules. And third one is temperature. Third is temperature, and fourth is pressure. Fourth is pressure. For example, this is a cell. This is a cell, and there are the molecules inside the cell. There is high concentration and there is low concentration. It means that in case of diffusion, it means that molecules will move from inner to outer. Higher concentration, inner to outer. Higher concentration to lower concentration. Higher concentration to lower concentration. It means that molecules will move from in to outside. Then there is facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion. This, for example, we will take a cell. We will take a cell, and some molecules are present inside the cell. And these molecules are not soluble in the membrane. That means these are not soluble in the membrane. It means that they cannot cross the membrane easily. So these are hydrophilic molecules. Hydrophilic, we know these are the water loving molecules, and these molecules find it very difficult to cross the membrane. So it means that for crossing the membrane, they have need of some protein channels by which they will cross the membrane. Now the protein channels which are present in the membrane will facilitate the movement of molecules for higher concentration to lower concentration. It is called a facilitated diffusion. When these protein channels facilitate, for example, there are protein channels which facilitate the molecules in case of facilitated diffusion. but there is concentration gradient is must there, and this does not depend upon energy. For example, it is any membrane protein, it can transport, there is any membrane protein, for example, it can transport 4 molecules. For example, it is protein channel, and it can transport 4 molecules. When these molecules take their place, the membrane protein will become saturated. Saturated means it will become saturated. It means that it has taken the maximum number of molecules which it has carried. So the moment will be higher to lower. Now these membrane proteins, we call them as protein channels. Protein channels, protein channels. We call them membrane proteins. Membrane proteins. So these membrane proteins or protein channels, these are present in mitochondria, plastids, and some bacteria, and some bacteria. So there are protein channels which are called as porins. Porins. These porins are responsible for transport of size of appropriate proteins. Responsible for appropriate size of proteins. And when these are actually huge pores which are responsible for transport of size of appropriate proteins. And there are water, and now there are water channels. So what are water channels? When these porins are these are huge pores, and when 8 porins combine, they form water channel. When water channels, 8 porins combine, 8 porins combine to form water channel, to form water channel. When molecules move inside the cell, for example, it is cell, there is molecule. When molecule moves inside the cell, we call it as influx. And when the molecule moves outside the cell, when the molecule moves outside, we call as efflux. So transport of facilitated diffusion, for example, I will show here. Transport of facilitated diffusion. For example, I will show here. This is membrane, and this is another membrane, and these are protein channels. Here is another channel, and it is another channel. When one molecule moves in one direction, one molecule moves in one direction, it is called as uniport. And example, there is movement of two molecules in the same direction. This is called as same direction at same time. It is called as sympole. And there are two molecules, one in opposite directions. For example, it is A is going here and B is going here. It means that their direction is opposite. So these are called as antipode. Antipode. If any two molecules move in opposite direction, it is called antipode. Now we will see what is we will see what is active transport. Active transport. We know that how it differs from passive transport. It means that active transport is movement of molecules from a region of lower concentration to the region of higher concentration. For example, it is lower concentration and it goes to higher concentration. So, in active transport, molecules move from lower concentration to higher concentration, and this transport is called uphill transport. Uphill. Now there is uphill transport. We will make a table. For example, I will write here ATP energy, and here I will write diffusion, and here I will write facilitated diffusion. Then there is active transport. So we know that in case of diffusion, we have no need of energy. And in case of facilitated diffusion, we have no need of energy. And in case of active transport, we make use of energy. It means that there is when we write uphill. In case of uphill, there is no need of energy, and also there is no need of energy, and in case of active transport, there is need of energy. Then there is water plant relationship. Water plant relationship. So what is this water plant relationship? We know that water is must for a plant by which it grows. It means that water is essential for a plant for growth, and it provides a medium. It provides a plant a medium for enzymatic action. Enzymatic action. Now we will see what is the water potential. When water molecules possess movement, water potential. When water molecules possess movement, when water molecules possess movement, and it means that some energy which we call as kinetic energy. kinetic energy, and it is represented by this. Psi, which we call as psi. Suppose we have a medium and there are water molecules, and for example we have a medium and there are water molecules. No movement is here. It means that we have not applied any energy to it. It means there pure water, it is pure water, and pure water potential is 0. Pure water potential, it is 0. But in case of when we are not applying external pressure or external temperature to it. So now we will take, if there is a glass, for example, if there is another glass of water, I will write here. If there is another glass of water, here is water, glass of water, and I will add it sugar. For example, water plus sugar, and I have applied sugar to it. It means that it became solute. It became solute. So we know that solute potential is represented by this. Now, the more the solute, lesser will be the solute potential. The more the solute, the more. So we have to remember, the more the solute, lesser will be solute potential. Lesser will be solute potential. Now there is pressure potential. Now in case of pressure potential, we will see when water increases in the cells and it exerts pressure on the walls of the cell. It is called when water level increases in the cells, and exerts pressure on the wall of the cell. It is called as pressure potential. So it is represented by, this. Now its equation is, for example, it is pressure potential plus it is water potential plus pressure potential plus solute potential. It means that water potential, pressure potential, water potential is equal to pressure potential and solute potential. In case of pressure potential, we know that it depends upon concentration gradient. Pressure potential depends upon concentration gradient and pressure. It depends upon concentration gradient and pressure. So we will take there are two containers. For example, two containers are here. Two containers. One is A, second is B. And there are, for example, molecules, and there are more molecules in case of B. Now we have to say that in case of two containers A and B, which has more water potential? Because I have told you that more the number of solute, less is the solute potential. So we can say A has the more, so A has more volute water potential because there is less number of molecules. A has more water potential. Now, in case of in case of B has more number of solute potential. B has more number of solute potential because molecules are in plenty there. So we will see that there is lower number of solute potential. So B has lower number of solute potential. A has higher number of water potential. Now we will see that in case of osmosis, we know that osmosis is when the molecules move from lower to higher. It means that in case of osmosis, molecules will move from lower to higher. It means that these will move from A to B. A to B. Now we will see how osmotic pressure affects cells which are kept in separate mediums. Because basically osmosis is movement of molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration. Osmosis is movement of molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration. So in case of osmosis, I have told you the flow of water will be from A to B. Because where there is high osmotic pressure or high water potential, the osmosis will go from higher concentration to lower concentration. Now, in case of equilibrium, osmotic pressure is same and water potential is also same. So there will be no diffusion. If one medium has 1000 water potential and another medium has 2000. For example, if one medium has 1000 water potential, another has minus 2000 water potential. So among which will be more? So we can say in case of negative, this will be having more water potential. Now we see how osmotic pressure affects cells which are kept in separate mediums. Basically, osmosis is movement of molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration, and we know that entry or exit of water depends upon entry or exit of water depends upon external solution. For example, if the external solution balances the solute potential inside the cytoplasm of the cell, it means that then solution is isotonic. For example, it is cell and there are molecules. The external solution balances the solute potential. If there will be balance of the solute inside the cytoplasm of the cell, it means that solution is isotonic. Then in case of another, if the external solution is more dilute, it means that it is having more concentration of water. Then the solution is hypotonic. And water will move from out to in. And then there is last one is hypertonic. And in case of hypertonic, if the external medium is concentrated, then the moment will be higher to lower, and movement will be into outside cell. So in case of this, cell will shrink, and it is called hypertonic. And last one is called hypertonic. Now, when we keep plant cell in hypertonic solution, cell wall shrinks away from the cell membrane. So this condition is known as plasmolysis. And when after some time we will change the concentration, the cell wall comes back to its place, the condition is called deplasmolysis. Condition is called deplasmolysis. So it was all about transport in plants. Thank you very much.